Welcome to day 2. This is Elizabeth, and I'm so glad that you're here to join me again for another day of discovering the wealth within you. And I just want to start by taking a breath in and arriving here now. So I invite you to place your hand on your chest and one on your belly, and just say hello to the inside of your body, taking a breath in and slow breath out, and just feel how your body is today. How are you really? Taking another breath in and letting it out slowly, and just notice how you're feeling. I'm a little anxious today, a little nervous, but that's good. It's just my feeling of wanting to give my best today. And I breathe in and breathe out. And I invite you to get into a state of gratitude. Really think about something you're grateful for about yourself. Really tune in to something that lifts you up, to think about that you have a quality inside yourself or an experience about an interaction with somebody, and really think about, what are you grateful for? And I'm grateful for getting the courage up to do this Discover the Wealth Within Masterclass. So I'm so glad to be here and to give from my heart and to really lead you through some very interesting tools and perspectives today. So also, another way to raise your vibration is to think of something you're proud of. What are you proud of about yourself? Did you accomplish something? You got a task done? You didn't beat yourself up today? Both the gratitude and being proud of, as well as breathing into your body, creates a feeling of expansion and openness and love for yourself. And that's really what we want to come from when we are thinking about really tapping into the wealth within. The creative force really moves through us when we're in that relaxed, calm, loving place inside ourselves. And today I'm going to invite you to do some writing to tap in a little bit deeper. So I hope that you have a journal today and that you're willing to write. I'm always inviting you to really just, instead of thinking, just see what comes. Just notice. That's really a theme here. Instead of really thinking about it too much, just write down when I speak about what prompts to write on. Just think about what comes up all of a sudden. We're not going to write for too much time on each subject, but just write like automatic writing. Like think of just that quiet place and just trust that something's going to come in. And if nothing comes in, that's okay too. That's something as well to notice. So we're going to review what we did yesterday. And yesterday we did a lot of remembering who you really are, that infinite abundance of source that I call God, your divine frequency of wealth, feeling your worthiness by just existing. Your being here is enough. You are a special, unique, one of a kind. And to really tap into that is your wealth. And we use tools to tap into the richness within by using the breath exercises, becoming present here and now, getting into a state of gratitude, which we just did. And all that raises your vibration to a higher frequency. And that is really where we start tapping into a lot of creativity. And then we are acknowledging also some of the layers of conditioning that minimize us, making us feel small and feeling lack or a need to fix something, or feeling that there's something wrong with us. And you are whole and complete within. There's nothing to fix. There's nowhere to go except within to feel your presence here. When you tap into your true nature, your divine source within, it's the divine having a human experience. And that is, as I say, where your wealth really begins. And we did the exercise of imagining our life playing out like a movie, and we got to go back to a painful scene and change the movie script. And I was so grateful for Wendy for sharing yesterday her story, and for all of you for participating yesterday. We noticed past beliefs we took on from childhood and how we can identify now those thoughts and behavior patterns and choose differently through just noticing. And those behavior patterns are like spells. When you think about our conditioning, it got overlaid on top of our wealth within, that divinity within us that learned how to shut down. And we learned things like staying small, it's not safe to be who I am. And those are spells. And sometimes in our conversations and the language we use today, there are spells woven into our language. English is really full of a lot of them. And it came to my attention with one of my mentors who pointed out that even saying good morning is, when you think of mourning, it's like you think of mourning as grief. So one of my mentors would say grand rising, and I loved that. As well as the week, like you feel weak when you go to work, and at the weekend, you're weak at the end of the week. So it's really interesting to start paying attention to these words and maybe think about other words we can use that are empowering. And I was delighted yesterday that my mother was in the circle with us, and she introduced herself as my grandmama. And I laughed and thought, no, you're my mother. And then I realized that she was already in the frequency of wealth by saying grandmama. So I really had to think about that and change how I looked at what she said. Instead of something wrong that she slipped up, that she was right on target. And that was so beautiful. And I'm just beginning the circle right now, so welcome in. I think I was just talking about how we raise our vibration by being in the state of gratitude. So I'm so glad you could join me, Sue, if you're willing to speak your voice into the circle. I welcome you. You don't have to speak, but I'm glad to have you with me. A lot of people from yesterday were unable to be here, so I am recording this and going to send it out to everybody, as well as give you yesterday's recording. So I was just reviewing what we were going through yesterday, which is really tapping into the wealth within and getting into a state of gratitude to raise your vibration. And then today we're working on releasing scarcity and emotional blocks. So it's a big day today. So I hope you're ready for the ride. Are you ready to feel emotionally lighter? Maybe a little empowered? Share with me where you're at today.
Let's see how it goes.
And if you have to cut out early, it's okay. You're welcome to leave and catch up later. But today I'm really talking about going from yesterday and remembering who you are, which is wealth within. That divinity is within you, that spark I call God, but that source, infinite source, is within, having a human experience. And today we're embodying more of that wealth by really thinking about what you are not and releasing that. So let's talk about the scarcity loop. Scarcity really isn't a mindset. It's really a nervous system response that we learned when we were little. We learned how to shut down and be less of ourselves. I don't know if you've gone through this in your childhood, but you learned scarcity from a stressed parent or from a traumatic experience you've had. Maybe a loss or rejection. Good to see you, Sue. Now I can see you.
Well, what the hair looked like. Okay, yes. Okay. Makes
You're
sense.
beautiful. You're beautiful. So there's a whole list of reasons we shut down and we thought of ourselves as less than or something to fix or something wrong with us. Being told to be grateful, not greedy, or being punished for wanting more. A lot of parents, didn't let their children ask for what they wanted, or they said, be grateful for what you have. So scarcity mentality was really inherited, but abundance is remembered. So that is our natural birthright. We come from abundance, and that gets shut down in the human experience. And the path of the human journey is really to remember where we really came from and to wake up to that. So that's what we're doing these 3 days. Hopefully you're going to be a little more awake to that abundance. And we're going to go through a few writing exercises that I hope that you'll participate with in just seeing what bubbles up. Don't think too hard to see what comes up right away when you're thinking about it. Don't think too hard, but just tap in. And if nothing comes up, that's fine too. That's something to notice. And that is the theme today, is just notice. So we're going to talk about the 3 saboteurs. So write down fear, doubt, and self-minimizing. And just answer these questions quickly. What comes up when I say, when does fear speak? And when does doubt rise? And when do you make yourself smaller so others feel safe? That's a big one for me. Now circle the one that holds you back the most. I can say at times all of them. And we'll come back to this exercise in a moment, but I really wanted to share a poem that I wrote way back in 1996. I work for a cancer help program out in Bolinas, California, and it's called Commonweal. And it's a week-long cancer help program for self-care and learning how to take care of yourself better. And one of the evenings back in 1996, when I was first working there, was one of the activities was an evening of healing words and poetry. My coworker and friend Waz, that is his name, would lead us through a bunch of writing prompts. And for some reason, I had so much come through me. I don't know if I just tapped in because we were in a beautiful natural setting and I was relaxed and I had been with these people for most of the week, and that I would tap into the collective energy. And so this poem is called I'm Too Afraid. I'm too afraid to look at my fears. I'm too afraid to speak my weaknesses. I'm too afraid to let down my guard and feel safe to come out. I'm too afraid to be humble and ask for help. I'm too afraid to say I love you. I'm too afraid to trust you. I'm too afraid to live. What does it take to not be afraid of life? So in 2022, still working at the cancer program, my same friend Waz asked me if he could share this poem to the group. He keeps all the poems that have ever been written. And so he reminded me of this poem in 2022. And he says, but I have a question for you. Did you ever answer the last question of your poem? What does it take to not be afraid of life? And I kind of shrugged my shoulders and I said, not to be afraid of death. He said, oh, that's great. Hey, can I add that to the poem? So this was the most famous poem now he reads to all the groups that come through the program. And I want to welcome in Patricia. If you would like to say hello, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
I'm glad you're here.
sorry I'm late here.
Hey, it's okay.
Hello, it's good to be here.
This is a flowing
technology.
this is a flowing weekend. We're allowing people to come and go. And I just welcomed in Sue and Patricia. I'm glad you're here too. If you would like to just tune into your body and say one word on how you feel today.
Grateful.
Yay!
I'm grateful for the sunshine too and all the light.
Beautiful. Well, that's how we started the session today, is tapping into what are you grateful for? And I did not ask Sue that, but I'll ask you now, Sue.
My first thought when I got up was what a glorious day it was. I was grateful for the beautiful day and lucky to be driving over to Chico early in the morning in it. So, yeah.
Hey, sunshine. We have a beautiful day to be alive, right? So I just finished reading a poem to Sue and the group that couldn't make it here today that will listen to the replay. So I'm glad that you've tuned in, Patricia. We just were going through some of the 3 saboteurs that show up in our life: fear, doubt, and self-minimizing. And so we did a little bit of writing, which we're going to do quite a bit of writing today, but from that intuitive place, see what bubbles up. So I just read the poem to Sue about a poem I wrote years ago called I'm Too Afraid. So I was really tapping into fear at the time when I was working at this cancer help program and feeling the fear in the group to really be alive and present. So I'm going to go, I guess to catch you up, Patricia, I'm going to have you answer these 3 questions, and Sue's going to be in review here. But the question is, when does fear speak? When does doubt rise? And when do you make yourself smaller so others feel safe? And then circle the one that holds you back the most. And if none of those are true for you, then continue on listening. You don't have to think of anything. But I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes right now and bring awareness to the emotion you circled. If there was fear or doubt or feeling small in your life that came up. And instead of resisting it, I invite you to just invite it in and open the door to it and feel it for a few seconds. And let it speak if it has something to say. Let it rise up in you safely because you are in control. But you're open to listening to some words that might come up, or if it has something to tell you. And when you feel it coming up and maybe saying something to you, jot that down if you would like to write a little note to yourself. And I'm going to have you just say these statements back to that fear or that doubt or that smallness and say, from this fear, I choose power. From this doubt, clarity rises. From this contraction, expansion returns. And that rewrites the pattern because you've acknowledged it and you've introduced something else. Of course, you can change these words to fit where you're at, but that's just the beginning of changing the pattern by noticing and then replacing it with something more expansive or empowering to yourself. And now you've broken out of the scarcity loop because you have choice, and that's another tool that we use to break out of these unconscious patterns. So I'm just going to ask if you two don't mind, and the whole group mind, to write a little bit more. Are you open to that right now?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a few questions and just see what bubbles up. It's just an inquiry to just notice. And the first one is around inner wealth remembrance. So the first question is, who am I when I am not afraid?
Oh,
The next question is, where does my sense of value come from?
okay.
Just see if one word or something pops up suddenly. You can always go back and listen to the replay if you want to go further into these. What is my definition of wealth? The next thing I would like us to do is acknowledge the wealth already here in this question to answer. What energies, skills, or qualities have carried you through your hardest seasons? I'll repeat it. What energies, skills, or qualities have carried you through your hardest seasons? All right. The next one is really acknowledging the origin of enoughness. This question is more of a reflection. Reflect on a moment when you felt powerful. Next one is reflect on a moment you recovered from something difficult. And the next one is reflect on a moment someone reflected your worth to you. Do any of you have any of those reflections or questions you answered that you want to share? Don't feel pressured. I'm fine with if you want to stay quiet, but I want to open it up. If you have any comment so far or question, you want to read us your answer. Shall I start with mine? So who am I when I'm not afraid? I said powerful. I know that was more of a quality than a noun, but anyway, that's what came up. Where does my sense of value come from? I said inside. What is my definition of wealth? I said abundant freedom. The fourth question was, what energies, skills, or qualities have carried you through your hardest seasons? I said trust, patience, breath, and nature. The next one is reflect on a moment when you felt powerful. I said next to a river. Reflect on a moment you recovered from something difficult. I said a hero's journey. And a moment someone reflected your worth to you. I wrote down deep love. So those were just my intuitive words that came up. They, of course, are everyone's different, so yours might have come up differently. Shall I move on, or would anybody like to share?
Well, I could say that a lot of my answers were the same as yours, like power and when abundance, I just got a picture of like apple trees and fruit trees and the gardens of flowers and that picture of abundance. And then that's wealth is sort of being at peace with everything around you and the skills, qualities, etc. Patience, perseverance, and staying focused, and then reflecting on nature too. Feeling powerful. I put some things like when I was riding horses and skiing, and those feelings felt really powerful because I was able to with with the horse, I was able to just fly and run and do all
I
kinds of.
love that.
I know you know that because you like horses.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Is there more or is that good? Are you
Well,
complete?
that's enough. Yeah, I mean, there's always more.
Good.
But that's what that was those.
I love that. Thank you. Anything from you, Sue, or you want us to move on?
I was trying to write the questions down, so I don't remember most of the questions. The one that's surprising me is my definition of wealth. The one thing I know it's not money.
Interesting.
But I don't know what it is. For me, the definition of wealth is gratitude because I'm
Mm,
just so grateful for every single thing that I have,
right.
and to me, I mean, I marvel at the fact that most of the stuff in my house I never bought, that it came to me so right. And it's to me, that's good. Does that make sense?
Right? Yeah,
So
I
I
love
think
it. That's perfect.
gratitude is wealth for me. The qualities that came through for me were how I don't remember the question, but survival came through, knowing that there's more, believing in myself, and then God was very powerful. I don't remember the question after the wealth one, but I just
It's the
remember that.
what energies, skills, or qualities have carried you through your hardest seasons. So that makes good sense.
I know that I'm a survivor, which is
Yeah.
something I'm working personally in counseling right now. Um, I feel powerful every single time I go for a walk in the wildlife. And that you
Mm,
said I feel free out there and I
yeah.
feel like nobody's just, and that's where I'm free to be who I am and say whatever I want. So I think all
Right.
my chakras are open out there.
Right.
Recovering, recovering from something difficult,
Yeah.
honestly, my first thought was, well, I don't think I've been through anything difficult that I've had to recover from. I'm sure there is,
The
but
death of your brother.
pardon me?
The death of your brother.
Oh no, I'm mad at him for that. So we haven't got there yet. Something that I recovered from something difficult, stuck there. I don't think we've recovered from it.
Okay. That's still in process, where it says processing.
Sorry, what was the last one?
A moment someone reflected your worth to you.
The first person that came to me was Leslie, but now I'm thinking that you have done the same thing.
I was thinking of
You
Leslie
two,
and your yoga, how you became a yoga teacher, but thank you for that compliment.
because you remind me who I am.
Mm,
So when I
thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing, both of you. That was empowering. And that is the powerfulness of coming together in a circle, because when we hear each other's experience, we don't feel so alone. We're like, oh, they go through that too? Something in us heals a little bit more or remembers a little bit more of who we really are. So that's why I think it's so important to come together in circles of people you feel you can let down your guard and trust and come out a little bit. So you're honoring me by showing up. Thank you so much. A few things that I want to bring up are just some thoughts about wealth and outer abundance that people often put onto money that isn't, as you say, really what wealth is about. But it's some statements that rang true for me is that your net worth is not your self-worth. And I think a lot of people would put that out there in the materialistic sense when they felt more powerful when they had more money. but you ladies just exemplified my point is the wealth within and connecting, feeling that connection with nature. And looking at money as a tool to use. It's an exchange of energy between two people. And money is often the tool for showing appreciation to someone. So back to that gratitude and abundance vibration, money can be a tool to show that. And so looking at money in a different way as energy exchange, and money is a resource that you can only get from another person. You don't get money when you're out in nature, or you don't get it from a cow, or you don't get it. I mean, you can turn the cow into a money-making endeavor, but you're going to exchange with another human being that tool we call money. And interestingly enough, there are vibrations within our system. If we really acknowledge that we're energy, we're vibrating at a certain frequencies, and people will put a ceiling on how much money they're allowing themselves to receive, what they feel they deserve. And these can be such old patterns we picked up from our family and society and the times we've lived in. And often there's a discrepancy between what people desire to receive and what they feel they deserve. And that gap is like the belief system that they're functioning on. They might even be unconscious about, but it's their comfort level. And that's what's like the default mechanism. And it's kind of like water. Water will go to the path of least resistance. So people will often go back to that level that they're used to. And so when abundance of finances might come in, some people might get very uncomfortable. And I liken it to like a temperature gauge. If you're used to your house being comfortable at 70 degrees, and then you go and set the temperature at 85 degrees, you might really be uncomfortable. And this happens with finances, like when people win the lottery. The temperature goes up to 85 degrees quickly. They all of a sudden have all this money, but their habits and their belief system don't allow them to have abundance. And so they find ways to spend it, or a crisis comes up and they had to spend all their money on medical bills, or something happened to where they quickly got rid of the money and they're back to the level they're used to. And so that's been a study done on people that win the lottery, that shortly a year or two after, they're back to where they were. So I find it interesting about belief systems. So I want to share a little bit on that level with you about a technique that I learned. And I'm not going to share the whole technique because it does take a lot of time to do, but I'll give you the reference of the mentor that I was studying with. His name is Tyler Watson, and he's on YouTube a lot with videos. And he wrote a book called The Alignment Effect. And his technique he teaches is called the Abundance Alignment Technique. And it's a fusion of breath work as well as tapping, or EFT, if you're familiar with that, as well as affirmations, but he uses it in a little bit different way. So if you're willing to learn a little new technique, are you ladies ready, or do you have any comments? Okay. So some of what he
Patricia,
did.
Patricia, why is she laughing? I've done all these things before, so I'm way open. But Patricia, why are you laughing? I'm curious.
I've done EFT and all that, yeah. But I love doing it with you.
Right on. Thank you. And Patricia likes to laugh. She's so experienced in finding humor in life.
Well,
Yay.
Okay, so one of his what Tyler really goes into is observing allergies and addictions. And these are not the usual way we look at allergies and addictions. But in terms of what you're attached to in your behavior patterns. So allergies are maybe habits or patterns that would help you grow, but you avoid doing them. That would be an allergy to doing something. And there's an addiction to things that are bad habits or things we know are not good for us, but we do them anyway. So that's where those allergies and addictions often keep us from moving forward, and we stay stuck. And so he came up with this method to free ourselves of those patterns. So for me, some ways to move forward if I'm looking at my outer financial wealth situation are I like to avoid doing my taxes or balancing my budget. These are things I run from. And I often, through foods, are addicted to some of the comfort foods. And I know I shouldn't have. And I'm a big carb lady, and I love chips and bread, and I like, milkshakes and cookies, and and I have to really, really, really watch it. But, that's my default mechanism back down to the temperature gauge going to 70 degrees. So one of his techniques, I'll give you the shorthand version, is that I'll lead you through a little bit of an exercise, but just to familiarize you with the technique is we're going to align ourselves to a certain statement, and we're going to tap and breathe. And the technique goes, you're going to tap down the center of your head, starting at the hairline, down to the end of your neck while you're breathing in and out 3 times. So and then you pant like a dog the next 3 times. So you go. And then you smile at the end. So that's the technique. So there's way more to it. So I do welcome you to investigate on Tyler Watson, but he came up with this way of disturbing your energetics by doing this. And that when you breathe 3 times in and tapping, it's giving the signal that you're safe. And when you pant like a dog, it's giving a sense of that things are moving or maybe more chaotic, but you're still okay, and you're tapping that. And then when you smile, it also gives that sensation to your body that you're safe and everything's okay. So he talks about coming up with a kind of a statement, affirmation, something in the present moment that you could really embody, that you would like to embody or do in your life, or if you have a food allergy that you want to correct. There's a lot of different levels that he has experimented with this on, and people have gotten rid of some of their food allergies this way. Some people have increased their abundance financially. They've gotten along better with people in their lives. So it's really about exploring within something that would be uncomfortable for you to experience, like rate yourself with that uncomfortableness. If you come up with a statement that would be so wonderful if, but ooh, that'd be kind of scary. So some of the statements I came up with, because I'm looking at wealth, since I'm talking about the wealth within, and one of them I came up with was, my inner wealth is reflected abundantly in my outer world. I also put the word financial in when I changed it a little bit. So I said my inner wealth is reflected abundantly financial. I'm not saying it right, but anyway, financially abundant in my outer world. So it's a little bit different than your net worth equal to your self-worth. It's really, where are you coming from? And I'm bubbling up from within, from a place of abundance that I'm already at. So that's my statement. I want to manifest in the outside world financially. Some other ones I came up with were, I receive my deepest desires in the fastest way possible.
Mm.
I am safe and openly receive more financial abundance on a daily basis. So those were some things that I came up with. I don't know if any of those work for you, but we're just going to use one of those as an example. Do any of those examples ring positive for any of you?
I like all of them. But
Okay.
maybe one is an overlaying statement that would include, the energy of all of them. That's what
Right?
we used to do in repatterning. We used to say the primary statement.
Right. Yes, so it takes some refining, which we can work on later, but I'm just going to use one for the example of the class.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the last one. I am safe and openly receive more financial abundance on a daily basis. That seems to be like a good affirmation. And as I say that, in what's really needed, and I didn't do it right now, but I would write it on a little Post-it, that statement, and I'd hold it wherever in my body I might feel tension or like resistance. So maybe, right now in my chest, I'm feeling like, oh, wow, that's a lot to take in, So I would then tap, I'd say the statement, I am safe and openly receive more financial abundance on a daily basis. And then I tap and breathe. And then I smile. And then I rate myself. How do I feel about that? From 1 to 10, do I feel like that's doable? Do I feel like there's still some resistance there? So I might say, well, I feel it's doable, but on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being like it's already happening, I'm maybe at a 6. So I really want to get it to a 10. So this is what you tune into next to really get kind of down to a little core, is that in that statement, are there words that might be trigger words? Like, I am safe and openly receive more. So I might look at the word safe, like look at the negative and the positive, like safe. Well, safe means like my definition of safe is that I don't want to go out of my house. I feel like safe to just be small and not go out and show myself in the world. Safe to me might be on the positive. All my bills are paid and I don't have to worry anymore. That would make me feel safe. So redefining some of the ways we look at words and acknowledge the negative and the positive. So then we go back to the tapping. So I can say, even though I feel nervous to go out in the world, I feel safer to be inside. I am safe and openly receive more financial abundance on a daily basis. And I can breathe and tap then. And smile. So you can see where this might take you a little while to go through a statement that I just chose that's a little long, because then I would go through maybe some of the other words, like receive. Am I open to receive? Receive might be scary. It's easier to give. So writing down the pros and cons of each word. I don't know if you're getting what I'm talking about, but obviously a simpler phrase to use is not going to take you as long to go through this process.
I think it's good.
But more similar to something you've done, Patricia, in the repatterning is Tyler Watson goes through a lot of layers in his program of going through your organs, your chakras, your musculoskeletal to then muscle test and see where that vibration is hiding, because a lot of times it's locked in our cells, even though our mind can accept it and even redefine these words. there could still be a sense of like, oh, I'm not 100%, I'm not at 10 yet. So there could be a further digging down to really get to the core, which is, again, this day is all about just noticing. We don't have to do it all today, but I'm just hoping that I'm opening the door a little bit for you to just question some things and maybe explore a little bit deeper. Have I lost you, Sue, or are you still with me? I lost her. Did you?
I love it.
All right.
He probably loves it.
Please comment if you have something you want to share. Patricia, do you want to say anything?
Oh yeah, sometimes it's unconscious, and it's deep, and maybe you don't even know why it's not at a 10.
Right.
You're trying to get it like in the chart, like all the things you mentioned. Usually it is somewhere.
Yeah,
we would be perfect if we were just had it all together. We wouldn't be working on this.
Exactly. We'd have everything we're talking about, and we wouldn't go to any workshops. But I also think sometimes in the waking up process, it's really the journey of who are we becoming, and often in our lack of seeing ourselves, because it is hard to see our own self without a mirror. So relationships are our mirror. And so, along the journey, we get to discuss these things and grow connections we wouldn't normally have done if we had everything perfect and we just were living in nature and by ourselves and walking peacefully along by ourselves, which is fine too. But I feel like a lot of the human experience is connecting with each other. And often we're connecting through our wounds, being vulnerable. That's part of that human experience, that in the spiritual realm, there are no wounds. We're perfectly whole and complete. We're the light of God, complete and total freedom to move about. And the human experience is all about limitation, to be stuffed into this tiny little form in the 3D and try to maneuver around what feels very difficult, especially if you relate more to your spiritual nature, can be a feeling of woundedness. And how do we share that wound helps create that community that can heal together, that says, oh, you go through that too? Really? Okay, maybe there's nothing really wrong with me then. So that's a little bit about the alignment technique, abundance alignment technique, he calls it. And his book, The Alignment Effect, is a good book. And if you want to go deeper with that, I, at a later time, can teach more about that, or one-on-one, as well as going to the source himself. You can look him up and I'm sure join one of his workshops. I've gone through quite a few of his, and I do love his energy. He has a lot of upbeat energy. So I was going to end this by just sharing with you one of the techniques I learned through the Berkeley Psychic Institute. They do a grounding technique, and it has really helped me just to kind of move back into my body, because oftentimes I'm somewhere up here and not always grounded. So this is just one more technique to use, and I'm sure you have many in your toolbox that you have for grounding. So take it with what feels right to you. I'm going to lead us through a little grounding exercise, and then we'll just share one last little bit, and then we will look forward to tomorrow. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and feet flat on the floor. And I'd like you to imagine a grounding tube from your tailbone down to the center of the earth. And however way that delights you in fastening that tube down to the earth, I kind of imagine this hand from the earth grabbing onto the tube and just holding it, or a tube from the earth connecting it in, so that everything that I'm going to send down that grounding tube goes into the earth, and it's like compost, or it's healing for her. And so I invite you to move to the center of your head, right where your pineal gland is. So you can use your fingers on top of your ears and in the center of your head, on the back to the front, to get a sense of the center of your head. And just look around there and notice who's in there. Do you have any thoughts of people? Do you have any thoughts of the day that you're distracted thinking about? And I want you to imagine a trap door, and you're just going to open the trap door and allow all of those thoughts and people and energies to go down the tube into the center of the earth. Now I want you to imagine a big sun over your head, and it's filled with all the qualities that you love. It's a sun that's filled with peace and joy and laughter and clarity and empowerment. And add into that sun whatever qualities you would love to fill your body with. And imagine that sun opening up and pouring all of this light down through your head. And imagine it feeling like honey going through your body, filling every cell with this liquid light. It's just going down your head, down your neck, down your shoulders and arms, down your torso, through your stomach and intestines, down through your hips and your legs and your calves and your feet, and down that grounding tube. And it's just seeping all the way down to the earth, and it's filling the earth with all of this liquid light, all through your home, all through the people in your neighborhood, all through California, which where we're at, all through the whole world. And this liquid light is just pouring through you into the earth and all around the earth. And take a breath in and let it out slowly. And open your eyes. And that's something I do when I'm out in nature, just sitting on the ground. I just imagine that liquid light going through me and all the way into the earth. There's a whole lot more to that technique too, but I just wanted to give you a little bit to work with right now. So how are you feeling right now, Patricia?
Oh, good. Pretty good. I mean, I'm back to being a little grounded, I feel. I've been on the go a lot.
I love that.
thought of you right away. I think of you with Tai Chi, though, and that's one of the things that I like for grounding, you know.
Yes, I was going to bring in some Tai Chi, but my setup here at my office doesn't allow me to stand up and show the whole room. It's just, I don't have a good tripod, so I'm going to have to.
Beautiful, the sun, and we got it. Wow.
We're going to have to wait for another class when I have more tools to use to embody that through movement, because it's so beautiful. So tomorrow we're really going to talk about really coming from that place of wealth and embodying it and moving forward with inspired action and putting it all together. So I'm hoping you'll join me tomorrow, and if you can't, I'll be glad to send you a replay. I hope you got the replay of the first day.
I will look forward to that. I probably get out where I'm at my church at 12. And
Yeah, no problem. Whenever you
might be 15 minutes late or something, trying to get.
Whenever you can get here. And if you can't, it's okay too. Oh, right. Well, thank you for your company and your sharing. I just loved it. And I know that Sue had to go. And for everybody listening on the replay, I'm so grateful that you are here and followed along with Patricia and Sue and I really look forward to tomorrow. And it's just a blessing to share these things that have helped me feel that wealth within and move forward.
Yeah.
So blessings. I love you.
Thank you.
I look forward to us visiting. I will definitely be in
Thank you
touch.
very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.